I did the last time. Anyway. Okay. Hello there, and good evening, and welcome, and thank you very much for taking time out of your evening to come and listen to us. I see we have a couple of people with us, and we'll be very happy to take you through the offerings that we'll have this year in Springboard. We're just maybe going to wait a minute or two just to give people a chance to maybe digest their tea and take a minute to pop in uh, um, uh, to this session. Thanks a million for your patience. I see the thumbs. Um, you're all very welcome, and as I say, we'll get through this. And please feel free, as we're going to make a short presentation, hopefully not too long. And I suppose what we're most interested in is having a conversation with you, so feel free to pop questions into the chat or stick up the hands and have a conversation with us. Because that's what we're here for this evening. We're here to give you as much information as we can that might help you make whatever decisions you're trying to make for the coming next academic year. So I'll just take a breather for one more minute and then we'll kick off, if that's okay. What I love about, or don't love about this environment, I think we've all become very proficient at having online meetings, but personally, I still miss the banter that happens before a session kicks off when one is face to face. The online banter is something that I think we're not as good at it online as we are face to face. Well, that's me anyway. I don't know if any of the rest of you have that experience. So maybe we'll kick off actually, and people can pick up on the conversation as we go along. So as I say, thanks very much for coming along this evening. My name is Therese Moylan. My role here in IADT is I'm the head of the Department of Entrepreneurship, and where these programs that we're going to talk about this evening lie. I'm delighted to be joined by my colleague. Dr. Audrey Stenson, who works very closely with me on these programs and acts as liaison on a lot of the Springboard programs. So Audrey is going to maybe is definitely going to take you through this presentation. And I'll sit in the background and keep an eye on the chat, and I'm happy to join in the conversation afterwards and help you with any queries that you have. So Audrey, I'm going to pop over to you. I'll turn off my mic and let you go.
Okay, thanks, Trace. Hopefully you can all see the presentation. Can everybody see it? Can you just give me a thumbs up that you can? That would be amazing. I see thumbs up. Super. Okay. Okay. So as Trey said, we are the Department of Entrepreneurship, and we have 5 Springboard programs that will be running in the academic year 2023 to 2024. So the purpose of this presentation is really just to bring you through the structure of the courses, the timetables, a brief look at the content, and then the type of student that would be suitable for each of the courses. So if you've any questions at all, feel free to come on mic or put a question in the chat, and I'm happy to answer as we go along. Okay, so the 5 programs that we have currently under Springboard. We have 3 postgraduate diplomas and we have 2 undergraduate programs. So the 3 postgrads are at a level 9 and the 2 undergrads are at a level 8. So if you're familiar with degree standards, level 9 is postgrad diplomas and masters, and level 8 is undergrad degrees. So we have the postgraduate diploma in business for EDI, or equality, diversity and inclusion. We have the postgraduate diploma in business in digital entrepreneurship. And we have the postgraduate diploma in business and cultural event management. And then the 2 level 8s that we have are a Bachelor of Business Honours in digital marketing and sales, and then the higher diploma in business in digital content creation. So they're the 5 that you will see listed on the Springboard, springboard.ie under Dún Laoghaire. The part-time programs run from September. So for 2023 to 2024, they'll run from September until May 2024. We normally finish in the second week in May. So it's a 30-week year. And they are all taught modules across all of the programs. And each program is 60 credits. Okay, so 60 credits is it's a lot of work, which is something that we're going to talk about soon. The entry requirements for the postgraduate program, so the 3 postgraduate programs that we have, that's EDI, Digital Entrepreneurship, and Cultural Event Management. We require you to have a level 8, so an existing degree, a bachelor's honours degree coming into that. For the undergraduate programs, so the Bachelor of Business Honours in Digital Marketing and Sales, and for the higher diploma in Digital Content Creation, we require you to have a level 7 coming into that. So that would be a pass degree, not an honours degree. Now, we also have an RPL process within IADT as well. And we are planning to schedule a workshop on that over the next few months. And people who are applying to Springboard will be notified of that particular workshop. So the RPL is a recognition of prior learning. So it's where you may not have a level 8 or a level 7 that will get you into a course, but you may have years experience in the area, and that could count towards your application. Induction for the courses begins in September, so September 2023. The postgraduate diploma in EDI only is on Friday the 15th and Saturday the 16th of September from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And both of those days are face-to-face and on campus. Okay, so there's no hybrid, there's no online option there. The following week, on the 22nd and 23rd of September, we will have the induction for all of the other courses, so the remaining 2 postgrads and the 2 undergrads, from 9:30 to 5 p.m. And again, on campus and face-to-face. The reason for this is because you will be introduced to different facilities, you know, like the library, for example, and we'll get somebody in to talk to you about academic writing and all that. So it's mandatory that you're actually there. The induction is quite intense, but it should give you a really good overview of what exactly is required. Nicola, yes, it's a Friday and a Saturday. Yeah, 2 full days at the start. Now, the term then will begin for EDI. It will begin the following week, and then all of the other courses, then the term begins the week of the 25th. Okay, so EDI just starts a week earlier. Okay. Okay, so the timetables that we have, and these details will go up on Springboard as well, except for the kind of once-off days that we have here. So for the postgraduate diploma in EDI, 6 to 9 p.m. on a Tuesday and Thursday, and as you can see down here, both sessions are online on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's every second Saturday, so 12 Saturdays in total for the year. And it's a rotation between online and face-to-face. So you will be 1 Saturday face-to-face in a month for the EDI, and the other Saturday will be online. Okay. The postgraduate diploma in digital entrepreneurship, we've got 2 online evenings, so 6 to 9 p.m. on Mondays and Wednesdays. And then there's an extra session in here on the 30th of October, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. They're extra classes, so you can see some notes here. The postgraduate diploma in cultural event management is from 6 to 9 on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and again online. Okay, so you don't need to attend on campus for those 2 evenings. Again, every second Saturday will be they will run the PG dip, and again, the same as EDI, you will only be required to attend in person 1 Saturday during the month. for the PG Dip in Cultural Event Management. Okay. The BBuzz and Digital Marketing and Sales, we have online from 6 to 9 on a Monday and face-to-face on campus 2 to 6 p.m. on a Wednesday. And the reason that we have that is because one of the subjects, which is web building, needs to be in a lab. And so that subject and digital marketing runs on the Wednesday. The higher diploma in digital content creation will run on a Monday evening online, and then it will run for a number of Saturdays. So we counted up, it will be 16 Saturdays in total over the course of the year. So remember that the year is a 30-week year. So we are looking at 16 Saturdays, but that includes extra classes that we're going to talk to you about soon. And again, there's one once-off class in there again for the 30th of October. And it's the same for the BBuzz and digital marketing. Now I can see some questions. For the EDI during the week, is it online? Yes. So Becky, yeah. So Tuesday evening and Thursday evening are online. Yeah. So it's only one Saturday in the month that you're required to come in face to face. Okay. Okay. So any questions on that? Is that okay so far? Okay. So no Saturday classes for entrepreneurship. Digital entrepreneurship, no.
Oh, so,
Um,
no, sorry. Actually, I beg your pardon. There are. It's the same. There are.
there are.
Sorry, that's just a typo. Sorry, my bad. Yes, it is, and it will be very similar to the cultural event management. It's be 12 to 15 every second Saturday, with one Saturday face to face once a month. Um, so apologies about that. Yes, they are. It is. Can I just say, just emphasize what Audrey is saying here about most of the dates are, you'll get this timetable when you at induction, the timetable will be fully pinned down. You'll get it. I mean, it won't change from this format, but you'll know the exact dates, and it'll be given to you in advance. There are a couple of dates, as Audrey has flagged, put in as extras, and they're not extras. They're integral to the program, and they're designed to help you achieve, I suppose, very positive outcomes for yourself. The postgraduate development in cultural event management has we bring in probably one of the world's experts in crowd management to run a very intensive workshop, and that's flagged and it's in the planning for the 16th of February. And we just want to give people a heads up because we know people are busy. We want to give you a heads up well in advance that you can organize your life and your commitments to be there to take advantage of those. The dates for the higher diploma in digital content creation and for the digital entrepreneurship are we're organizing very specific entrepreneurship boot camps to help people develop their own projects, because it's been our experience that a lot of people have their own ideas and they want to work through them as part. So we put in some very solid supports
Yeah.
around that, and
That's a
that's why.
spoiler. That's a
So,
spoiler, Trace.
oh, I
That's the
beg
next
your
slide.
pardon.
Yeah.
Oh, well, no harm, no harm. But I think it's important. It's important to flag, the date. As I say, we appreciate that people are really busy, so we like to give you these dates sooner rather than later. So
Yeah.
sorry, Audrey. I'll back to you, and
It's
I'll
all
stay
right.
quiet.
We will go through what Trace was talking about there in the next slide, but I think what we really need to flag very early on, even prior to you applying to these courses, is that these are just the class times. This is not a timetable for all of the work that you will be required to do outside of class time. So you need to factor that in when you're planning this, because what we've seen in the past are students saying to us, well, it was only supposed to be, 2 evenings a week or, a day or a day and a half. But what they failed to do was actually factor in that, yes, you have that class time, but then you've also got a number of parallel continuous assessments to do or projects to do as well. So you have to allow that time and you have to figure out how you're going to manage that workload as well. So you've got to remember that it's a 60 credit course, which requires a lot of work. And all of these are 100% continuous assessment. There are no exams. in any of these subjects. Okay, so please do make sure that you allow time for project work outside of class, as well as scheduling all of these dates in. So the lectures commence. So for the postgraduate diploma in EDI, they commence on Tuesday, the 19th of September. So the first lecture after the induction is online. Okay, so all of the Tuesday and Thursday classes will be online. The PG Dip in Digital Entrepreneurship, Monday, the 25th of September, is online. The PG Dip in Cultural Event Management on Tuesday, the 26th of September, online. The Bachelor of Business Honours in Digital Marketing and Sales is on Monday, the 25th of September, also online. And then we have the Higher Diploma in Digital Content Creation, Monday, the 25th of September, online as well. Okay, so for Becky, so would year 2 have a similar timetable? So these courses are only 1 year long. The duration is only for 1 academic year. If you're doing a year 2, then you're looking at a master's. So yeah, Trace, let's talk about that. Okay.
Okay, lovely. For me to pop in there, perhaps we could we'll look at that at the end. I think I know where that's coming from, Becky. So if you bear with us, let Audrey through a little bit of this, and I'll come back to you and I'll talk to you about that.
Okay. Okay, so on the timetables, we have these extra classes scheduled, just to give everybody notice of what's actually required. But like I said earlier, it's not just about attending class and just scheduling that in. When you're doing a course like this, whether it is a level 8 or a level 9, it requires a huge amount of commitment. And you also need to be aware that when you're studying and working and you've got other commitments as well, that you become very time poor. But it's only for that year. It's only for that academic year. But you do need to make that investment. So the extra classes that we are putting on in relation to a boot camp that Trace mentioned earlier. So we have an enterprise boot camp that runs every year with the Media Cube. So I don't know if you're familiar with the campus in ITT, but there's a big blue building at the very front of the campus, and that's the Media Cube. And we have really good relationships with those. So they're all startup companies within there. And every year they put on this enterprise boot camp, and our undergrads and our postgrads can attend. So any student and any recent graduates can apply and attend. And every student, without fail, that has attended this boot camp has been absolutely delighted with the outcome. They have felt it at being very worthwhile to the projects that they're doing and also businesses that they're undertaking. So what we are planning to do this year, so normally that would run in the evenings. And we know that with our Springboard students, that's a huge time commitment to ask them to go and do this as well as the course. So we're doing something a little bit different. So it will still be the same content, but in January, we are going to run on Monday, the 22nd of January, Wednesday, the 24th, and Saturday, the 27th. We are going to run a boot camp specifically for the Springboard students. And that will be on campus and face-to-face. So there will be a number of workshops in there, such as, marketing workshops. There'll be ideas generation. There'll be, putting together a pitch deck. Then actually pitching your idea. There'll be things like business model canvas, business plan. So the outputs of this, it's actually quite intense. So it's important that anybody who's thinking of doing the postgraduate diploma in digital entrepreneurship, the BBUS in digital marketing and sales, and the higher diploma in digital content creation, that you pencil this into your diary as well, because it will be mandatory for students on those 3 courses. We will be running a business ideation workshop on October the 30th, which is a Wednesday, and that will be face-to-face from 2 to 6. So that will be the initial step to get people thinking about an idea, thinking about a pitch. And then the enterprise bootcamp itself then will be the realization of that idea and the development of it. We are also planning on holding a careers workshop in March in 2024. We don't have the exact dates for that yet, but it will It will either be a Monday evening or a Saturday morning. So we will try and schedule it in on the Monday evening so that it can be online. We ran it online this year, so it is possible to do that. Um, so the modules for the postgraduate programs. So the postgraduate diploma in EDI, there are 6 modules, so worth 10 credits each. The postgraduate diploma in digital entrepreneurship, we have 5. And then the postgraduate diploma in cultural event management was 5 modules here. So each of these modules will be, it's a hybrid delivery. Some will be online and some will be face-to-face on Saturdays. And each of and then of course we have the undergrad programs as well. For the BBLS in digital marketing, we have 4 modules there. We have digital marketing, digital sales and CRM, web building, and the industry project, and digital marketing, pre-production, post-production, and the industry project. As part of the industry project and the business management projects in the postgraduate, for the postgrad diploma in digital entrepreneurship, there are a number of streams that students can pick. And one of those streams, particularly in the level 8, could be something like developing a new business idea, or developing a plan, or looking at a feasibility study around an idea and just kind of figuring out, is this viable or not? Another stream could be an academic project. Another stream could be work placement, which is something that we offer particularly on the level 8s. And another stream then could be those of you who are actually currently working, that you could undertake a project within your workplace by using all of the theory that you're learning and present that as your end of year project. So what we do ask is that anybody working in these particular areas, that they use the theory to either improve what they're doing, or they use the qualifications from this to actually possibly get a new role, which has happened to graduates within their current workplace, or actually get a new job, which has also happened to graduates, which is amazing. So just breaking this down, so the postgraduate diploma in EDI, so the aim of the program is to immerse students in critical theoretical frameworks, but it's not just about the theory. It's also about the application of that theory and understanding how the theory fits into current workplaces and into society in general. Because what we're finding with EDI now is that it's become a bit of a buzzword, that it's a really popular phrase, but people are really recognizing the value of EDI within business and the fact that it should be integrated. So we do have quite a high demand for this particular program. So just be aware of that. So any of you who are thinking of EDI, we do have a lot of people who've already registered their interest in this, and it is quite a high number, and we only have a particular number of places, so we can come back and talk about that at the end. The type of student that this is targeting will be supervisors, middle managers, leaders, or people just who are generally interested in EDI, even just from an academic perspective. But there is, emphasis, for example, on Irish law and how employers need to inform their employees. So there's a very practical side of it as well as the academic. Sorry, I skipped a course. We have the postgraduate diploma in digital entrepreneurship. So digital entrepreneurship, it's not just aimed at entrepreneurs, but it's also aimed at intrapreneurs as well. So people who want to take a lead on the technical aspects within the business where they are. So it could be, within a small company, you may own the company, you may work for a small company. And when this course was designed, we were thinking about that, I think the figure is 95% of Irish businesses are small to medium enterprises, and they were the type of people that we were targeting, particularly entrepreneurs as well, in order to bring them in line with, things like technical innovation, business planning, business innovation, looking at business transformation, and so on. And also looking at the practical side of it, like marketing, SEO, analytics, website building, all of that too. So the idea, the type of person that this one would appeal to is somebody who's possibly an entrepreneur, someone who may be working in a company who has perhaps an opportunity to develop a strategic plan, a digital strategic plan for the company. So that is our PG dip in digital entrepreneurship. Then we have our postgraduate diploma in cultural event management. And again, we're looking at theoretical frameworks and techniques for cultural event management. Again, really focused on the practical side of things as well. Very suited for people within the arts and festival sector. Okay, so if anybody is working or wants to be in that particular sector, then this would be the course to consider. Then we have the BBUS Honours in Digital Marketing and Sales. And again, this is a level 8. So what we're looking at here is to build a skill set that you can use in marketing, where you have that 360 view of how sales and marketing work together, the fact that they're not the same, and how you can actually achieve online sales through online marketing. And then, of course, there's the whole web building side of that as well, where you'll develop websites and you will use your websites to promote different products or services. So this particular program aims to allow the graduates to move into a digital marketing position. And our graduates from this particular program have been quite successful in that. You know, that they've moved either into a digital marketing position within the place where they are, or they've actually gotten jobs outside of it. And what we found in particular with the 805 and the 846 courses is that our graduates and our alumni have come back to us and that they've either continued on to do the Masters in Digital Entrepreneurship or the PG DIP, or they have become contacts for us for work placement as well. So, you know, so it's really interesting to see that alumni is quite cohesive. So the type of people who would be interested in this, like I said, is anybody who's interested in moving into digital marketing and sales. It's very practical, it's very hands-on. Yes, there's an academic side to it as well, but generally it is about being in the lab and doing. And then we have the 846, which is the Higher Diploma in Digital Content Creation. So this particular program is about designing and developing digital assets. So things like video. So video creation, video editing, image creation, editing, sound, such as podcasts. And then we have website development as well. So they all fit into the pre-production and post-production modules. Then we have an industry project which encapsulates everything that is learned. It's the same in 805. There's an industry project there as well. And that could be a work placement. It could be a project that you're running in work. It could be a new business idea that you have. And less inclined would be an academic project, but some students do go for the academic project, not many. So the type of person who would apply for this would be somebody who is particularly interested in really focusing in on social media content or website content, with particular emphasis on multimedia. So it might be somebody, let's say, who wants to start up a series of podcasts, maybe something historical or, you know, something that you might eventually want to get onto a platform like Spotify or something like that. So you'll be taught how to actually record those podcasts. You will be also taught how to record and edit videos, but not only from the point of view of the functionality, but also the storytelling behind it as well. So really, you know, this program would be suitable to anybody looking again at moving into something like digital marketing, looking at entrepreneurs, you know, how they can promote their own business. And again, you know, what you have to remember is that the skills that you learn on this type of a course, they will they're there to help you enhance your existing business, do you know, or enhance a business idea that you might have. Some of our current students are working on things like websites where they are hosting maybe a whole series of blogs, interactive blogs or videos or podcasts that they've created. Some of them are doing it from their own business perspective. Some of them have created businesses, just as a purpose of getting this up and running. So again, digital content creation is something that is quite you'd be quite familiar with that term at the moment. Um, our Springboard requirements. So when you are applying, so the initial application, and this you need to submit a CV and proof of education, and of course the application. And the offers are made on the basis of the initial application. But then Springboard will get back to you then with more documentation requirements. And if this documentation is not returned to Springboard, then you cannot start the course. So the place can't actually be confirmed with Springboard until you give all of this information. So if you're employed, there's a number of things like proof of current address, evidence of a valid PPSN, which is actually across all three, evidence that you meet the nationality criteria, proof of living in Ireland, proof of employment. So make sure that you familiarize yourself with the documentation that's required. Otherwise, we cannot confirm your place, and you may run into problems with that closer to the time. And Springboard have said that they need this 6 weeks before the course start date. So remember, our course start dates for the EDI is the 18th of September. And for all of the other courses is a week later in the 25th of September. Okay. So just make sure that you get all of this documentation in. And I think, yep, that concludes the presentation there, Trace. So
Thank you very much, Audrey. I know there's a lot in that and a lot to take in for people. So, thank you for bearing with us. Can I just say on there was a question in there, a very good question around the application process. And the application process, you have to go through springboardcourses.ie, www.springboardcourses.ie. However, they are having a technical issue at the moment, and they have been down for some time. And I don't know tonight when that system is up and running. But what we can do is, for any of you who have expressed an interest, and if you're okay with it, we can let you know as soon as the system opens. We can pop an email to you and let you know that the system is open. Apologies about that. It's beyond our control. There is a little bit. I mean, I'm just laughing to myself here. I'm thinking we're doing a very good job of putting you off applying for a course. In that what we're saying is we're emphasizing, I suppose, the amount of work that's required. We're emphasizing the commitment. Um, I sometimes say to students at this point in uh, in time is, when you come on a program like any of these, you have no life. And I say it partially tongue in cheek, but also partly seriously, because if you're working, or if you've home and caring commitments and life commitments, as we all do, and you take on a program while it's technically part-time, as all now, the good news is that goes very quickly. It's a 30-week period, but you do have to be prepared for that. So some of you may already have done programs, and I'm sure you appreciate what we're saying. But we don't want you to go away underestimating what might be required on the application process itself. Yes, it can be a bit. eh, there's a good bit of documentation. There's a good bit of, you have to come onto their system. Eventually, you get transferred to our system. There's a couple of double doing, if you like. Again, we We can't change that. It's done for good reason. I mean, at the end of the day, this is largely public money and taxpayers' money, and it all has to be accounted for, and that sometimes that can be a little bit bureaucratic. But having said that, we're here to help you through it, and we'll try and make it as seamless as possible. But sometimes it can be a little bit frustrating. Do any of you have any questions that you want to throw out to us, or come on the mic if you want to share your voices with us and ask us questions? Please use it. You're on a bus, yeah, that's fine. Work away, type away, and we'll get to them. So I kind of fully appreciate. Isn't technology fantastic? Nicola, you've got a question. Pop in there and let's see if we can help you.
Becky, just to answer your question, so the website says the EDI postgrad is 24 months. Now, the 24 months is the EDI Masters, not the postgraduate diploma under Springboard. The Springboard course is 1 year. The second year in the EDI Masters is the research piece, and that's the 30 credit research piece that brings it up to 90 credits in total, and that's the master's program, and that is over 2 years. So, but the postgraduate diploma offering in Springboard is first year of the master's degree, which is 60 credits, and it runs from September to May. Is that okay?
Brilliant. Amy, you're querying if the EDI program is aimed at HR. Absolutely not. What we find now, we do find we get people from a HR background, but the backgrounds of the people who come on the program are very diverse. It's a combination of people who are passionate about some aspect of diversity. Some of them may well be activists in their own right or in their own organization. They became coming from HR, they're coming from technical, they're coming from all aspects of the organization. Um, it's so we're finding, what we are finding is it is tending to be people who have some level of experience. They're not necessarily all at senior manager level, but they definitely have some experience of the workplace. However, that isn't to say that someone who is straight out of college and who has a passion for this area wouldn't find it incredibly valuable as well. Um, Nicola, your mic's disabled, so type a question if you can, and I'll come to you. Um, a question here about, would you be eligible for a Springboard course, the postgrad ones, if you already have a master's and it's in a completely different field? Potentially, yes. We have seen that. Absolutely, it has happened. The If you have a master's already, there's nothing to prohibit you doing another one, or changing direction. Often people use the Springboard as a means to change, reskill if you like, as opposed there, and maybe take a veer in a different direction from a point of view of a career. So that's not uncommon. And we don't like the priority with Springboard. um, there are some conditions around, if you've done Springboard programs before, how many Springboards you can do, and if there's progression. But again, just check that out on the Springboard website when it becomes live. But not the short answer to your question is, you could be yes, you could be eligible.
I think the
Are
important thing there as well, Trace, is to say that the Springboard is only offered for the postgraduate diploma, not
Absolutely.
masters. Okay,
Yeah.
so we do not have any of our master's programs under Springboard. It's
No.
only the postgraduate diplomas.
Yeah.
So just bear that in mind. And they're the 1 year courses. If you wanted to continue to do the Masters in Digital Entrepreneurship or EDI or Cultural Event Management, you would have to do another year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it would be a separate payment as well.
Yeah. The I suppose the thing to say, to just to help you clarify that for you, the way our pu- three masters programs are designed is they have a 60 credit piece which is fully taught. That equates to the postgraduate diplomas that are on offer through Springboard. There's an additional 30 credits. The master's itself is a 90 credit program, so it has the research project and research methods to complete the masters. And that, if you successfully do the postgraduate piece through Springboard, you're eligible to apply to finish out the masters, but that won't be funded by Springboard. So hopefully that makes things clear for you. um,
Mhm.
Mark, you're asking about the online classes being recorded, and the answer is we don't record everything, and there's a very good reason for that, because we're trying to encourage an interactive experience online. Some of the material is quite discursive. Um, what we do is there are elements of them made available through recording, but the whole thing is not, because what we find is that recordings can stifle the conversation and the engagement. And if you take something like, say, some of the topics that maybe are being looked at under EDI, people may feel more comfortable at having those open discussions without a recording being present. What I would say to you is you get buckets of resources, all of the material, all of the class notes, supplementary material. You will find you are not short of content to help you through the program. If anything, you're going to have to, you know, we all, as you'll have to be discerning. But there's loads of material and there's loads of support. But not everything is recorded. Um, and not every, like, with the live dates that we have put in where we've required you to be present, we're not streaming those, because again, they're designed, most of the lectures are designing those as interactive sessions, which don't necessarily work well in the other context. You're interested in digital content and you already have the that's the okay, the digital content itself is a, a, a a higher diploma. Okay, so it's not a master's. Higher diploma sits at level 8 in the framework. Um, the fact that you already have a level 8 qualification, um, it means you could apply to master's programs anywhere, I presume. But the digital content, we don't have an add-on master's for that at the moment. Um,
Yeah.
so the qual is not on a route within IADT to a specific master's. Doing it, the digital content is really, it's uh, it's not just skills orientated, but there's a very strong development of skills piece in it. Probably the strongest one of the suite we're looking at. I'm not sure if that's helpful for you, Dorothy. Um, Nicola, your answer, asking about the graduates typically go on to do. What we're seeing with this is some of them are coming in from organizations where this is becoming an, an item, if you like, on the agenda of the organization. So some of them are they're either starting in roles that are beginning to explore that, or they're going into newly found EDI roles. But if you look at some of them are with not for profit organizations where they're maybe active in a particular aspect of diversity, one of the many grounds of diversity. um so they are but what we're also noticing is that there is a lot more roles emerging in the whole EDI space. The public sector is taking this on board significantly over the last number of years, and you're seeing a much wider range of kind of equality officers, EDI experts, coming come those roles are growing. There's iteration of it. So it is becoming a bigger area. Mark, you're doing the BBuzz. Would you be able to Springboard next? Yes. No, there doesn't have to be a year gap. And I checked this out with our admissions people recently because I thought the same. I think you can come straight from a if but just double check that with Springboard. It will be up on their site, but I've been led to believe that you can do what you're thinking about doing. Um, Now, when you say it's not over the summer, Mark, yeah, I'm just following up on your question. The postgraduate entrepreneurship can be converted into the masters. You have to complete the masters first. You apply then to come back in, and you have to do the research methods and the project in the second year. Um, and believe me, when you, it wouldn't be possible to do it over the summer. Um, and what I mean by that is we find like you need to get the grounding in the research methodology. Um, you need to scope out your research project and fine tune the project idea, and we find it takes, I'm working with people at the moment, and it has taken them right up until now to do that. Do you need to provide all the documentation? Yes, unfortunately. Yes, it's a new application, and it has to be treated as such. Becky, you have a question there about the cost. The additional cost, if you're doing the 30 additional credits, it's €2,000. They haven't
Yeah,
told me the.
I think one of the important things there though is that the postgrad diploma in EDI, there is a huge demand for. So and
Yeah.
we only have 25 places, isn't that correct, Trace? So
We
we're
actually have
looking to
less. We have
increase
about
that.
20. Yeah,
Oh,
we have.
20.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have 20. We've 20 funded places from as in that's what we'll get funding for. Um, the Yes, that is true, and indeed, I mean what we notice is like everything in life, the demand can shift between the programs from year to year. There's been very steady demand for all of them. The EDI is particularly busy in terms of applications. And that is something we definitely will not have places for everybody that is interested in it. Um, Cultural event management. If my memory serves me right, I think we have 25 places on that. It has proven to be a very popular program. We have run it over the last uh, 4 or 5 iterations through Springboard, and very uh, it fills well. And what I would say is get for all of them, the key thing is get your applications in as early as you can. And I feel bad saying that right now when the system is down, but we will keep you posted as to when it is live. As soon as the HEA let us know that it's up and running, we will let you know. But it's important with any of them to get. We do treat the applications as they come in. We go through them. We check initially that the initial documentation in terms of academic qualifications and profile match what the program. We make the what we would say are the provisional offers based on that. We have to wait, and we have to wait for the 6 week period in advance of the course to get your final documentation, because that is the way Springboard has set it up. And so what I would say is if you've got a provisional offer, and you then, into August get an alert saying upload, do it as quickly as you can, because we will be responding as they come in. So for all of them, I would say but we certainly would have to flag that the EDI, it's unlikely that everyone who applies will get the place.
There's
Um,
another question there from
Thanks.
Mark, just to repeat. So Mark is asking, so is it just a project to be completed in the second year or a redo of all the modules again?
Oh no,
Mark,
oh
for
no.
the yeah, the second year is just the project and just the research methods module. So that's the 30 credits. And no, you don't pay the entire 6,000. It's, as Trey said, 2,000 for the
Yeah,
second year. If
yeah.
you do the PG diploma, the Springboard funded one in the year before that.
And I suppose what I would say about all of that, I mean, you guys all know your own context better than I do at this point in time, than either myself or Audrey can understand. And it's there's for many doing the PG dip is sufficient. They can achieve what they need to achieve, and it can be the springboard, pardon the pun, it can be the springboard for progression in terms of your organization or your career, or potentially if you're reskilling. So have thoughts about uh, it's great to get get it's a standalone qualification at level 9, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say to you, and it is recognized as such. And then obviously, as you go through it, you've time to make a decision as to whether or not you want to go, and there's no pressure to move on. And equally, we're here to facilitate you if you want to. The Sorry, there's Nicola, you were saying there, the um there's another question in there. I think I'm just trying to pull it up.
There is, Nicola's just asking again, I think you answered this already, but what is the additional cost to continue on to a master's in EDI?
The additional cost for all of the masters for cultural event management, for EDI, and for digital entrepreneurship is €2,000 in the following year. So, I mean, in terms of if you're looking at, if I dare I say it, value for money, it effectively means you can potentially get your masters over the course of 2 years at a cost of a maximum two and a half thousand, depending on what your condition is coming into the. If you're unemployed coming into Springboard, the programs don't cost you anything. If you are in employment, as you know, they cost you 10%. So I hope that's helpful. Is there anyone there on the keyboards typing away? There are. Yeah, there's no problem. Feel free to keep at it. We're here to help you. But if there's anything else you want to know, um,
Also, feel free to drop us an email at any point.
totally.
Our contact, there are different contact details on the IDT website for all of these courses. So you can contact the course coordinators, or you can contact myself or Trace if you've got any questions at all. And Mark, you've got one more question. Okay, no problem. Um,
And Becky is typing too. That's fine. We're
okay.
no problem.
So I think that one of the key things here is to allow yourselves enough time, not just for class, but also for coursework. Because from a mature student perspective, if you haven't been in education for a while, it can be a little bit shocking. It's like somebody throwing a bucket of cold water over you, just, because you have to suddenly adapt and you're learning again. And that's actually a session that we do with in induction as well, is the adjustment back into education for mature learners. So just bear that in mind, the time that's needed and the commitment that's needed.
Yeah. Mark, I see your question there on the uh, uh, on attendance. Um, the fact that they're not all recorded, so I'm clear about that now. And different lecturers record different amounts of material, but in the main, it's not a recording. We don't have, as I say, unlike maybe sometimes with undergrads where we might entice them with participation marks as such, we don't have that kind of a stringent stringent attendance policy. We recognize that people are mature. We recognize that people are also have things going on, so there can be disruption to attendance. However, I think you've got to, at the end of the day, you're the best one situated to make a call about how much. If you do miss class, it does require some catch up, and sometimes that catch up can be harder when you're doing it on your own than when you are in attendance. So sometimes this question, and I know I sound like a typical Irish person now saying this, it does depend on the type of learner you are, and it also depends on the amount of commitment that you can give when you may have missed class. Missing the odd class, I mean, let's be honest, we've all missed a class in our time as a student. Sometimes for good reason, and an odd time for sneaking off to the cinema for an early show, in my case. So it does happen. People do miss classes. Um, but if you're missing a lot of the same class, that can be problematic. Or if you're missing a lot of something that you find difficult, I know there's subjects and modules. If I was missing them, um, I know I'd find myself lost. So that's, in some regards, is a call for yourself, um, to make. But I suppose, to reiterate Audrey's point, there's a significant workload attached to all of the programs. But it's time well spent, and what we do find, I mean, um, we know from some of the feedback, and we know from looking at, say, alumni that are on LinkedIn and that do come back every so often and tell us their stories. There are some very positive outcomes in terms of both career progression and career development as a result of the education, which is good to see.
Oh, and we get our graduates back to talk to the student cohorts about their projects, do you know, about what they actually did the year before. So we actually have quite an engaged alumni as well, you know, that you can at least be inspired by the work that they've carried out, and you'll see that they got through it, and as tough as it can be at times, and yes, it can be a bit stressful at times, but that's just coming up to deadlines. um Everybody will get through it, if they are committed enough to it and if they can. So Springboard wise, I mean, as lecturers and lecturing teams are all very much aware of the commitments that students have outside of the courses as well. And I think you'll find, and it's something that we pride ourselves on within the Department of Entrepreneurship, is the fact that we get to know our students and we get to know them pretty well. And we would consider ourselves quite approachable. You know, students are running into issues and work is getting in the way, or it could be health issues, it could be family, it could be anything at all. And the course coordinators and lecturers are always willing to talk to students. So it's, you know, I think that that's one thing that we really is a huge strength, is the fact that we are so approachable. So yeah, bear that in mind as well if you are signing up.
Listen, I'm conscious it's 8 o'clock. Some of you might not have had those of you on the bus definitely probably haven't had a chance to have your dinner, or your tea. So listen, thank you for taking the time to come along. And if we can be of any help, as Audrey said, feel free to contact us, and we're very happy to give you any assistance that we can. I just is there one little I just want to make sure I haven't. You're all very welcome. Thank you. Thank you for coming along.
Thank you. And we hope to see you soon.
Yeah, September.